And this is my introduction to bring up Congressman Brian Higgins. Congressman Higgins is in his 5th term. He represented our district for a period of time until most recently redistricting put him up in the Buffalo, Niagara County, or Erie and Niagara County areas. But Brian Higgins had manned the process of the naming of the new federal courthouse in Buffalo. As we know, we have Chief Justice Roberts here, who's the head of the federal judiciary, and within that domain is, in fact, federal courthouses. And so on October 5th, 2012, President Obama signed legislation of which there's nobody who was more important than Congressman Higgins, who, coupled with Judge Arcara and Judge Scretany, really did some amazing things. So we're going to pause for a second and call up Congressman Brian Higgins.
How you doing? I have to follow the Jackson Scholar. Chief Justice Roberts, that's cruel and unusual punishment. Let me also say that Congressman Tom Reed, who wanted to be here today, is a member of the House Ways and Means Committee and couldn't be here because they're dealing with a little IRS issue in Washington. But Tom truly wanted to be here and couldn't be because of those hearings. I'll be here again, even though I don't represent this area, tomorrow. Our oldest son, John, graduates from Fredonia State College tomorrow, and there's 2 commencements. I'm speaking at both of them. So I said, John, do you have any suggestions as to what I might want to talk about tomorrow? And he said, no, but it was just one of those responses where something else was on his mind. I said, well, do you have any advice? He said, keep it short. Before this congressional gig got my way, I was a teacher of history and economics at Buffalo State College. And when I was first elected to Congress in 2005, I met Greg Peterson and truly did not know anything about Justice Jackson. But I knew of the founding mission and the vision of those who founded this great center. And it was to impart not only knowledge about this extraordinary Western New Yorker, but curiosity about this extraordinary American. And what's often, I think, put aside is the extraordinary ability that Jackson had to communicate through the spoken word, but also the written word. And the law and words mean nothing unless they are spoken in a compelling way and with great eloquence. At the Nuremberg trial, Jackson was known to deliver the greatest English language courtroom speech in history. He always spoke with a great appreciation for both literature and history imbued with humor and optimism. His speeches reflected the greatest of the American tradition. He spoke in Nuremberg not only to the assembled tribunal, but to the world about the crimes against peace and about the law of individual responsibility. Lawrence Tribe, the great constitutional scholar, characterized Jackson as the most piercingly eloquent writer in the history of the United States Supreme Court. So today, this is quite an event. As Joe Biden would say, this is a big no. But you had 1,700 people here. I met kids, high school kids from the Nichols School in Buffalo, kids from Springville, kids from Orchard Park. And the greatest thing that you can do, it's not IQ, it's CQ. It's the curiosity quotient. And you instill an appreciation in all those kids for the extraordinary work that Judge Jackson did in the extraordinary place that he holds in the American legal tradition. But Greg, the Buffalo Courthouse would not have been named the Robert H. Jackson Federal Courthouse without you in the Jackson Center. There were a lot of people that thought it should be named for Wild Bill Donovan, an extraordinary, colorful, unique American from Western New York, and they made compelling arguments. But in the final analysis, after all the facts were gathered and analyzed and presented in the great tradition of Jackson, you won out. But this would not have been done without you. So I wanted to present to you personally a copy of the bill signed by President Barack Obama, naming the new federal courthouse in Buffalo for Associate Justice Robert H. Jackson. There you go, my friend.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Bob.
Greg, you don't get to take that home. That stays here at the center, okay?